Dear friends, we all have heard that you don't need to be the best in order to be a champion, but you have to be best you that you possibly be. And that's what exactly is to go for a champion mindset. Today's session is especially for those who are participating in international speech contest for the first time, or for those who have already participated for one or two times but still didn't get the feedback or still wants to know the tricks and techniques, like how we should go. Suppose I wrote a note for you that there is 1 crore rupees under your bed. I have kept, but but it's in the different language, which is not clear. Will you Will you try to take out those rupees? Never. Same thing in international speech contest also. There are so many things the speech requires. That's very difficult. And to even at the club level also, when you listen the international speech contest speeches, you will see that it's just different than all other project speeches, because where we get the objectives of the speech, but here without objective, with the message. And it also includes your body language, captivating mind. Not only that, you have to trigger the emotions at the same time to give one message also, your personal anecdotes, your stories, and the flow should be within that 5 to 7 minutes. You have to manage the micro expressions. So naturally, we require a master trainer for that. And for this training, for this education session, the master trainer is someone who is engineer by profession, by qualification, and NLP trainer by profession, I can say now, but he is a L&D specialist in IT company. Not only that, he was a Toastmaster of the Year for 2017-18, area director for 2018-19, and thus you see this master trainer is going to trigger our learning curve today. Please welcome Toastmaster Santosh Akella, Distinguished Toastmaster Santosh Akella for this session as our trainer. Santosh, the virtual playground, the platform is yours. All. Thank you, Santosh.
Thank you so much, Pratibha. So first of all, Pratibha, I would like to tell you one thing that even if I don't know the language, even if I cannot decipher that language or what it is, I will definitely try for that 1 crore rupees, and I'll be finding out how I got it. And first of all, welcome everyone, and if possible, try to switch on your videos. I know that we are all attending this from our work and everywhere. So fine. Now I'll be starting to share my screen, and welcome to this session on creating and delivering an engaging speech. I'll be looking here in between. Please don't give me feedback that he's not looking into the camera and everything, because I want to see you people, your responses over my second device and while I'm presenting from this particular device. So let's get started. So my focus today is going to be on how to create and deliver an engaging speech rather than on international speech contest. But of course, please don't leave this meeting, or please don't start blaming Pratibha or me, telling that what the hell is this? This not about international speech contest. This is about international speech contest, but the content is going to be with a different motto. That is, the motto is to create and deliver an engaging speech. So with that understanding, let's get started. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to use this wonderful technique, and I know this is one of Pratibha's favorite techniques, that is the mind map technique. And if you see today here, very clearly, very appropriately, my session is divided into 3 parts: content, delivery, and language. And inside content, we'll be seeing how to do a topic selection, and then we'll be seeing what are different speech structures and how can we do storytelling. And then when it comes to delivery, we'll be seeing verbal aspects of delivery, and then we'll also be seeing non-verbal aspects of delivery. Finally, language. And I would like to say this is one of the weakest elements for me, especially. And yeah, let's get started now. I can see Ankit in the audience. Ankit has been a champion speaker for Bombay Toastmasters Club. Welcome, Ankit. Thank you. And I'll definitely look forward to take your help in between to share your experiences and things like that. Thank you. And also, of course, we have our experienced Toastmaster Pratibha, and we'll see if Arvind he joins, and then we'll also definitely seek his help and we will go further. So, to start with topic selection, I want to ask you this question. Why do we write a speech, or when we start to write a speech, what is that first thing that comes into our mind? You can put it in the chat box. What is the first thing that comes into our mind when we start to write a speech? Topic, right? Yes, someone has posted the message to be delivered, connecting with the audience, an outline and a strong message. Title, wow, great. Title is something that I missed in the presentation, but I'll definitely be dealing with it. How do we get the title? Surendra, thank you so much. In case I miss that, please make sure that you're going to ask that in question and answer session. Share your thoughts. Great. So the first thing that we want is we want to get to a topic. We want to find a topic. What topic? Yes. Why did Pratibha select me to give a speech? So Pratibha, this is a red flag for you. Just kidding, but that is a good one. Suhas, thank you. Why did she select you to deliver a speech? Because maybe she has some revenge on you. So she is planning to take revenge on you. That is why she has probably selected you. Okay, we'll discuss that offline post this meeting. So we will, when we deliver a speech, there are three important reasons why we deliver. Number one is we deliver speeches in order to inform our audience. Maybe today I am informing you all how to create and deliver an engaging speech. And then we deliver speeches to inspire and persuade our audience. I may deliver a speech today. For example, Pratibha has been behind Suhas to deliver a speech. She's persuading him in every way possible, using all the Samadana Veda Dandopayas, I believe, so that he put it on the chat box directly. So that is persuading, trying to inspire. As the president of the club, she's trying to persuade all to inspire a speech. And of course, I'll also be inspiring you today a bit to actually participate in this contest that is coming up. And then finally, we also deliver speeches to entertain others. Humor. We have had certain jokes that were there right in this meeting. So typically, we will deliver speeches with these three important elements. That is number one, to inform, to inspire, and to entertain. Three important things that we need to consider. And it is not necessary that if I am trying to inspire you, I have to be very serious and come close to the camera and say, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. No, not like that. We can also inspire others by by giving some information, and also by adding certain amount of humor in what we are speaking. So this is about the general purpose. This is what I call, what I did not call, but it was in one of the Toastmasters manuals. So it is what is general purpose. And then we come to the specific purpose. Now, once I have decided that, okay, I'm going to deliver a speech to inform with certain elements of inspiring and entertaining. For example, imagine I want to deliver a speech and tell you, please wear a helmet while you are driving. Then what I'll do, I'll take a subject, and my subject, this is my specific purpose. And when I speak about specific purpose, now you can ask me, Santosh, how can we go to this point wherein I'll say that today I'm going to deliver a speech on of the importance of wearing a helmet while I'm driving on the road. Now, for this, I have a small material that I have found in the internet. Now, this material is again, there is no hard and fast rule for finding a speech topic. If you ask me to find a speech today, maybe an informative speech, what I'll do, I'll probably speak about Nika's IPO that went very well, or I'll probably speak about metaverse, right? Metaverse, which is trending on YouTube and everywhere today. So I'll probably take those topics. But what if you want to give a speech for your international speech contest, or for any speech, for instance, that you deliver on this platform? So this is a small guide that you can use, that is your most memorable events from life, student life, childhood. Try to remember all these things. So I'm not going to walk through this entire document, but this is created by these gentlemen. I don't want to steal the credit. You also have this phone number. Okay, I'll also give my phone number, not just his. So these are all the, this is a guide that will help you to find speech topics. Okay, not going much into it. I'll be giving this to you. And next time when Pratibha asks someone, you ask someone to deliver a speech, Pratibha, please give this, and they'll not get back to you telling that I'm not finding a topic, right? So that is the first thing. And then we'll go to speech structure. So very simple, very easy: opening, body, conclusion. And now everyone will say, now Ankit will say that, okay, why did you call Santosh Akella? Then he's saying that it is very simple. So let me start to break this down. How can we do this? So opening, we need to have an opening. Try to have an opening that captures audience attention. Now you can have an opening by asking a question. You can open your speech by giving a startling fact. You can say, do you know, by the time I finish this sentence, 5 people would die out of poverty. Now this is a startling statement. Do you know, more people died in both the world wars, more people died in accidents than both the world wars put together? Now, this can be a startling statement. So you can open with a story, you can open with a question, you can open with a startling statement, or sometimes there is no hard and fast rule. Today, whatever we are discussing, there is no hard and fast rule that you have to follow the same. You can even open a speech with a magic trick. I have seen a speech wherein someone has opened a speech with a magic trick. You can open a speech with an activity. I can tell you, uh, I can give you a small activity and I'll ask you to do, and I can start my speech. I can use a speech with a prop. I can show a water bottle. I can just start like my speech like this. I can start with a prop. So there are n number of possibilities, but the three predominantly use techniques are opening with a question, opening with a small anecdote or a story, or opening with a startling fact or a figure. So these three. And now your opening should lead into the topic. For example, if I'm delivering a speech on metaverse, I will probably ask, what if you can be at the same place where you're sitting and still go watch a football match in USA? But I cannot ask you a different question. I cannot ask you, do you know what blah 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 happened? And then that cannot lead into the topic. So our question should logically lead into the topic. And then we have the body of the speech. Now in body, when I speak about body of the speech, we can use opening, body, I mean, we can have 3 points. Now why rule of three? There is no compulsion that we need to have a rule of three, but this is because we are using here 5 to 7 minute speeches most of the times. If we have a 20-minute speech, you can use a rule of five. For example, I have delivered a 20-minute speech wherein I have used an acronym which was live. L for listen, I for inquire, which is ask questions, F for feedback, and E for empathy. Now that may look alien to you because that is not related, but I'm just giving you an example. So try to use a rule of three or a single story or multiple story and then elicit your point. And there is no compulsion that you have to use a story Again, I'm not speaking with respect to international speech contest for 1 minute, but you can also use other elements like facts and figures, like examples, like stories and anecdotes, like visual aids and whatnot. And then you conclude the speech. Please give a proper conclusion to the speech, a strong conclusion to the speech. Only then the audience will be able to connect with it. And if you are giving an informative speech, you try to conclude by summarizing what you have spoken. Or if you are delivering an inspiring speech, for instance, international speech contest, you give a strong call to action. Tell the audience what you are going to say it, and then tell them what you have said. Dale Carnegie. It means we'll be seeing, I'll be coming back to this quote in a while and you'll understand why. And before that, we'll see common speech structures, chronological structure. If I have to speak about Indian independence movement, I'll use a chronological speech structure right from 1800s when East India Company came to India, from how we started Quit India movement, then Dandi March, a series of events. I'm not very good at history, but we have all those events, we put them in an order, the way we write our resumes. Topical structure. Today I'm using a topical structure. I'm going topic after topic. I'm going to speak about content, then I'm going to speak about delivery, and then I'm going to speak about language. Or we can use a comparative structure. If I have to compare a wired headset with a wireless headset, or I have to compare a wired headset with a wireless headset with an earbuds that are coming, AirPods, which are coming these days. That can be a comparative structure. And then we can also use a problem solution approach. In a problem solution approach, first we state a problem. For example, I'll say that I'll say that I am not able to cross the road properly because nobody stops there at the traffic signal. And then I'll go on to explain the traffic rules. And then that is a problem. And then I'll say there is a solution to it. Please follow this. So that can be a speech structure. And then we'll go to storytelling. Storytelling is one of the most important aspects of speaking, and especially in international speech contest, because if I have to speak about a topic like metaverse, as we have discussed, I can always say something about metaverse which is always present on Google. But why you have to listen to me? What value am I adding? And that is where stories come into picture. Now there is this one question that always comes to us: what to choose first, story or message? And my answer to this would be, what came out first, hen or egg? For example, if today I am reading a book, recently I was reading a book, which is, I forgot the book name, but if I find that in that book, I found that in that book, we have to do only one thing in a day in order to succeed. Now that was a breakthrough for me. And I decide I have to deliver a speech on doing one thing. And now I'll search for stories, go back. I will search for one messy day where I tried to do 100 things. And in that process of doing 100 things, I could not even finish one thing. And then I'll say that I realized this point, the power of one thing. And I start to do only one thing after that. And how I was able to do more, because instead of taking 100 things for 100 days and not finishing anything, taking one thing in a day and finishing them. And after 100 days, having that productivity, how I got it. I can now hear what happened. I got the topic and I explored, I reflected in order to find these stories. It can be other way around as well. Imagine I got an experience, for example, same topic, but in a different way. I try to be perfect in everything. And in that process of trying to be perfect, imagine I made a lot of mistakes, maybe not changing a job because I tried to be perfect, or trying to go into a very big company, big four or something, and then I messed up everything, and then I subsequently could not reach where I have to. And whereas I compare that with someone who was able to switch 2 to 3 companies in that time of 5 to 6 years and was at a better position than me, because he or she tried to do things not in a perfect way, not going to that something which is idle, but he or she tried to make small steps, not necessarily perfect, but they were at a better position than what I am today. So that can be a revelation that I have, that can be a breakthrough that I have, and I'll try to deliver that speech by telling something imperfection. So it is not necessary that we need to have a topic first or a story first. Anything can happen. Don't tell them, show them. That is one of the most important things in storytelling. And how do we show them? Grab the attention at the beginning. We need to grab the audience attention. How? We can start by asking a question. We can start by giving a very good description of what is going around. I'll be showing you one speech wherein we will see how those descriptive elements have been done. Like, I can always say that I am delivering a speech sitting at my house, but compare this with right now what I'll be saying. I am delivering this speech sitting 1,100 kilometers away from Mumbai, and I am delivering this with my fan at a speed of 4 out of 5, and my legs on a couch. Now, don't imagine how I am sitting, but my legs on a couch before me, and I am delivering the speech. Now, this is where I grab your attention and I use some description to what did I do? I brought you into the setting. I bring you into the setting. For example, if I have to take you all to Marine Drive, I will go there and I will say the cool breeze from the Marine Drive. And then we introduce some characters, because characters and having some life to those characters. Again, when we use these characters, that will convert a small dry narration into an action episode. And we have to give life to characters, and it need not be a very big description. For example, we can say she looked like an angel, she looked like a movie star from Hollywood, or we can say he looked like James Bond. Even that small description, that small statement gives life to that character. I can see a James Bond, I can see a movie star, I can see an angel, and that is where the change happens. And then you take care of transitions. There is one key. From my experience, we can never get a transition in the first go, and we can get not completely, but transitions always get worked out after second iteration or a third iteration. And that is when we read through the script, and at one point when we find that okay, something is not connecting here, we go back to that speech and we will say, why did I come from one point to a second point? If in my speech I'll say I traveled from my home to a grocery store which is nearby, why did I go there? Once I ask that, if I'll just tell you I was here and then I went to a grocery store, you may feel it is having some disconnect. But if I say I was sitting here, I required to have a mask, or I required to have a small chocolate or some bread from my house. So I took out my bike and went on a ride to that market. And that is where we get that connection. And also try to use humor and emotions. You've got to invite them into the scene of your story so they can hear it, how you heard it, see it, how you saw it, and feel how you felt it. And now we'll see the mind map. We have seen topic selection, and this is where I said I'll be going back to that quote, which was, tell them what you're going to tell them, and tell what you have already told them. Like, if you see this, we have discussed all these things, and I'm again speaking about them. The general purpose, which is we deliver speeches to inspire, to inform, and to entertain. And We have seen this topic selection tool that I got from one of the Toastmasters in Chennai. Then we have seen some basic speech structures, storytelling, how to find stories, or what is first, whether I have to take a story first or my point first, and then how to grab attention, setting, bringing them into the setting, characters, giving life to those characters, transitions, and finally humor and emotions. Now we'll be moving to delivery, which is verbal and non-verbal. When it comes to verbal, there are 5 important elements. Volume. We need to ensure that the way we speak, we are not too loud so that the audience will get lost and they'll think some angry man is speaking, or we won't speak very slow or too soft so that the audience will go into sleep. And we'll use a pitch. Pitch is the high and low of our voice. Sometimes when I have to explain you something which is very exciting, I'll speak at a higher note. If I have to tell you something that is maybe a bit sad, or something which is not something that is not I have been thinking that it should happen, or if I have to grab your attention, that is when I start to speak slowly, and then I'll reduce my voice. And same goes with rate. If I have to speak something angrily, I have to show my anger. When we're angry, if you see, we observe that most people, they speak faster. That is the rate of speech, which is the number of words per minute. And we have to take care of quality. And when it comes to quality in an online medium, of course, that again boils down to the microphone that we use, and we have to try to be as much as we can. And of course, our normal voice clarity, try to stay hydrated before your speech so that it will help. And then finally, the power of pause. I'll show you one speech. We'll be seeing that speech very soon, wherein we will also find this element of pause. And now coming to these non-verbal elements, stance, which is the posture that we use, then stage movement. In this online medium, stage movement is also associated with coming close to the camera, not very close, so that it becomes a bit inappropriate for the audience, but a bit closer when I have to emphasize a certain point, or going back when I'm speaking normally. And even stage movement happens here. I can move a bit here and there, and try to stand and deliver in case of your contest speeches. Otherwise, it is up to subject to your requirement. And then eye contact, try to look into the lens and deliver a speech. Entering and leaving the stage. Again, this entering and leaving the stage is with respect to physical meetings that we used to have in good old days, but in terms of a online meeting, when I'm switching on my camera, how am I switching on? I'll not switch on like this when I am somewhere I don't know where I am. So that again reflects our confidence, or the way. Make sure that you are at the right posture, and then simply switch on the camera. That will help. And then finally, usage of props in this online medium, when we're all trying to craving to grab the attention of audience. It is, I would advise that try to use some props in your speech. So all of a sudden, when I show this and I'll ask you, what is this? You have a prop to show, and make sure that again your props are logically connected with your speech, and your props are not hiding you behind, and you show your props clearly so that the audience can see what it is, and for enough good enough 10 to 15 seconds, or as per the requirement of your speech. And then finally, coming to language, this is one place where I still struggle to improve, and as English language is vast, so is my struggle to improve it here. So write for the ear, use short words, short sentences, short paragraphs. Try to build a vivid imagery. As I was speaking, when we go to Marine Drive, we'll say that breeze from Marine Drive, or we'll say from the Juhu beach, or we'll try to speak about the temperature there, a tropical season, or we'll speak about monsoons in Mumbai, something like that. Try to speak about sense, smell, what you heard, what you felt, that is touch, what you saw, and what you tasted. Sometimes you can say it was bitter. It was a bitter experience. Can be Even that can be used to give a vivid imagery. And then audience participation. Try to use some catchphrases. For example, last year's winner, he used hush, don't rush. That is a catchphrase that he has used. Try to ask questions, avoid jargon. I cannot go and say deployment, or I cannot go and say thermal temperature, or optimum temperature, these kind of technical terms. Although some of you may connect with them, some of you will definitely ask me, what is this? I cannot all of a sudden come here and say metaverse, which is very new, and try to say it correctly. Try to correct your pronunciation and enunciation. I had very I mean say I can say this is a very good learning experience for me in Toastmasters. Especially, I'll give you a small example. In one of those meetings, I was the grammarian, and I took a word of the day which was epitome, and I spelled it out as epitome. And then apparently I come to know from the general evaluator that it is not epitome, but it is epitome. And that is where, since I had that experience, I was able to remember this till date, even I think after maybe 3 years. So I feel somewhere I have learned them by writing speeches. I am still, I think, only 20, 22, 25% with respect to pronunciations and using the right enunciations, but still I am in the process of learning when it comes to saying it the right way. So take care. But what we can least do is try to get back to mentors and ask them where am I not pronouncing the right way, so that they'll help us. And now I'll be speaking about these rhetorical devices, that is simile. A simile is when I say something looks like or is similar to something. I can say ignorance is like a cancer that must be cured. Or I can say, for example, life is like a camping site, and we all go there, put our tents, and live in it until we leave that. And then in metaphor, I'm directly saying that this is what it is. Like, ignorance is a cancer that must be cured. And then try to use triads. Triads are those words or expressions wherein we use in threes, like we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, our sacred honor. And then again, alliterations are those words, triplets, which start with the same kind of pronunciation: dejected, depressed, disappointed, unnoticed and unused, hallowed halls, protect and persevere peace, protect and persevere peace. All these things that start with the same letters, these are the things. Again, this language thing, once you have written your speech, we have to Google it out a lot. What I normally do is, if I have a, for example, if I have to speak about perfection, I'll try to Google what are the synonyms for perfection, and then I'll come to a point where I find a word which is out and out. Now, out and out is a word that is used to tell completely, out and out a cheater, or out and out a perfect match. And there I'll say out and out perfect thing. I'm looking for a perfect thing. And out becomes my catchphrase there, if you see. And out looks different, but telling perfection every time may look boring or cliche. But if I say out and out, that gives that look. And finally, I would like to say, please try to deliver project speeches. Pratibha, you can again push your members, as Suhas just messaged in the chat box, why Pratibha always selects me to give a speech, because definitely delivering speeches helps to develop a kind of automaticity wherein after delivering, like I have must have delivered more than 65 to 70 speeches in the pathways and the old program that was there in Toastmasters, and that has definitely given me some automaticity with respect to delivering speeches. So these are some of the projects that you can try to deliver. New pathways level 1, it will cover most of them, and you can do storytelling, descriptive language, connecting with your audience, know your sense of humor. These projects will help you. So finally, to conclude, so this is the mind map that we have arrived at. So we have seen what is general purpose, what is specific purpose, basic speech structures, and some common speech structures, why stories, how to find stories. We saw these speech topics where we can find certain topics. I'll be giving this material to you. And then we also saw setting characters, giving life to those characters, transitions, humor, and emotions. Please take a screenshot of this. You can try to make some notes while I play the video after this. And then we have seen verbal elements like volume, pitch, rate, quality, pause. Then we saw some non-verbal elements like stance, stage movement, eye contact, entering and leaving the stage, props. Then we saw language elements like writing for the ear, short sentences, short paragraphs, short words, vivid imagery, rhetorical devices, audience participation, try to avoid jargon and then saying it correctly. With that, can you see my screen? Okay, I don't think you can. 1 minute. Yeah, I guess you can see my screen now.
Yeah.
Thank you. If I'm audible, please, if the speech is audible, please put a message in the chat box. It is audible. And then if there is an issue, please put that in the chat box. So I hope you are ready. Please be careful and keep noting. I'm going on mute now.
In your life, who gives the best advice? Your best friend, your parent, your partner. I'm willing to bet there is one person you haven't thought of. Contest chair and friends, come back with me to 2019 when I'm at a birthday party. The birthday song has already been sung. The candles on the cake already blown out. And those confetti party poppers already popped. Their chemical smell is hanging in the air and everyone is happy. I stand at the end of the bar alone, hanging above me, a dark cloud. My good friend Kotoko asks, "Hey, is everything okay?" I have a job interview on Monday, and they want me to give a workshop to prove I can teach. Kotoko asks, "Is that a problem? You've been a teacher since the Ice Age." I don't know if I want the job. If I go give the workshop and then refuse the job, I would waste everyone's time. It's rude. I'm going to call on Monday and cancel. Kotoko looks at me with big, sparkling brown eyes and asks, "Do you really not want the job? Or is it just that you don't feel confident?" You see, just 2 weeks earlier, I gave a workshop to over 200 people on how to be more confident. And now Kotoko is questioning my confidence. I don't know what to say. So I just say goodbye and I am out of there. On my way home, a little angry, I tell myself, I am the king of confidence. You don't question my confidence. I tell you how to be more confident. I get home, I open my computer. Kotoko's right. The king of confidence doesn't feel very confident. And I really need this job. I've been out of work for months and the bills are piling up. And if I fail this interview, who would want to hire me? Kotoko said one more thing. Can't you follow some of your own advice? Now I know this is not what she meant. What I heard follow your own darn advice. When the expert needs to be told to follow his own advice, find another expert. I feel like a pretender, a poser, a fake. And so after a few glasses of Jack Daniels, okay, more than half the bottle, I fall asleep. I wake up the next afternoon with a terrible headache, but with a surprisingly clear head. Kotoko's right. I should follow my own advice. When I look at my notes from my confidence workshop, I see this. When you give advice to someone, guess who benefits the most? That's right, you do. Because the advice you give is the advice you need. And here on my computer is a workshop full of my own advice. I also see this. Even Michael Jordan had self-doubts. So it's okay for a teacher with over 20 years of experience to not feel confident. But confidence is not about a feeling. It's about a belief that you can succeed, whether you feel calm or nervous. I review and remember all day, and the next day, on my way to the interview, I tell myself, I'm not nervous, I'm excited. I'm not nervous, I'm excited. I'm not nervous. Okay, I'm a little bit nervous, but I am excited. And guess what? I got the job. Thanks to Kotoko, I got the job and I learned a big lesson. When you share your knowledge, your passion, your advice, you benefit as much as or more than your audience. So, do you want to be happier? Give a workshop on happiness and then follow your own darn advice. You want to be a better speaker? Give an evaluation. And the next time you speak, follow your own darn advice. What advice do you need to hear? Give it, because Kotoko's right. The person in your life who gives the best advice just may be you. So follow your own darn advice. Contest chair.
Thank you. So I hope that you heard the speech, and I want to ask you. You can put it in the chat box. What are 3 things that you found in the speech that you wish to mention? 3 or 2 things or 1 thing, anything. Like, you can put a couple of points in the chat box that you observed. Something, pause, tone, and gesture. Yes. Storytelling or storyline till the end. Yes. Yeah, thank you. So what I will do, I have scribbled action in telling. Great. I have scribbled something of what I found in this. I don't know why I wanted to keep this like this, because I felt this is raw and this looks, this will actually take us back to those olden days where we used to write on paper. So I tried to make it colorful and wrote like this. So yeah, so I'll try to tell what I liked in this. And again, this is completely my own personal opinion and analysis. So I have just done this before an hour. And from then and what I saw right now, again, I got a different thought process altogether. So first thing is the opening. He opened with a question, and with that question also he made us he made me get that anticipation. Like he said, what is the best advice that you have? And then he went on to say, and do you know is it from your father, is it from your mother? No, it is from that one person. And that is where he hooked me, and he made me think, okay, who is that one person, who is that one person? Okay, so that is what I absolutely loved right at the start. And then as he immediately jumped into storytelling, where he has used that beautiful description of the birthday party, wherein he used vivid imagery. He created that vivid imagery, candles that were already blown out, and then he spoke about some chemical smell. He also said, oof, candles already. He did that, even the sense of smell as well. And coming to body language, I saw when if you observe, he started from here, and when he said 2019, he just walked back. If you remember, I'll ask Pratibha to send that URL to you all, and then you can observe. He just walked back, and he used the virtual stage beautifully, without making it look like he's doing exaggerated actions. So, and then even when he said pretend, pose, pretender, poser, fake, even then he took one step with each word. And when he actually gave the message, he came near to the camera. And that is when we are speaking about the main point, we come near to the camera, we come a bit forward to the camera. And then when he said bills piling up, he used his hand gesture. So that is here, bills piling up. And I also loved one more thing, that he used three scenes of a small incident. First, he started with a party, and then from there, he goes to his computer, starts seeing his own video, and then he gets into sleep, and then he wakes the next day afternoon, not morning, the next day afternoon. And these three scenes, he printed them. And of course, there is a fourth scene, that is when he goes to that interview, and wherein he uses this beautiful repetition, that is, I am not nervous, I am excited. I am not nervous, I am excited. I am not nervous. And the three times he repeated that, he used three different statements to show that plummeting confidence, to show his plummeting confidence that reduced every time. And then he said finally, I am nervous, but I'm still excited. And that is where he used that power of repetition as well, to an extent. And in the callback, he said, when we are happier, when if you want to be happier, you use this. I mean, you give a session on being happy. If you want to become a better speaker, you give a session on becoming a better speaker. And if Ankit and I were there, we would say, if you want to stay single, give a speech on being single. Just joking, Ankit, sorry. Yeah. And then he concluded it in a beautiful way. And when he also he had a character, Kotko, right? He had a character, Kotko. And there was a slight variation in the voice that he has used. It is not noticed, but we will definitely find a difference. And for me, I also tried to write some recommendation I found. I'm not, again, this is my personal opinion. If I have to evaluate this speech, and then I would write this. That is, number one is, while having a dialogue, and this is what I learned from Arvind last year, that when we are having a dialogue, we don't say he said, she said, he asked, she asked. We directly try to enact it. And that is where the point of showing the audience, story showing, comes into picture. So we can directly enact the dialogue with that variation in the voice. And then I also felt this one character, Kotko, this character could have been elevated a bit, like maybe some like that one aunt who gives unsolicited advice, or that one uncle, or that one relative who always tries to get down our confidence. Small description to this character would have helped. And also, again, this pause after falling asleep, I felt when he slept, he woke up suddenly. Okay, now when I am seeing this, I am feeling that he woke up all of a sudden, just to showcase that he woke up all of a sudden from the speech. But when I wrote this, I thought I may have to say maybe a bit longer pause after that sleep could have helped, so that we'll get that for a moment audience will get to recollect what has happened and what has been. So this is a good speech that I have found on internet on YouTube. I'll also be asking Toastmaster Pratibha to send that in your WhatsApp group so that you can go through that once again. So I guess this speech covered almost all the elements, most of the elements which we have discussed earlier. And with that, okay, before we close, someone put it in the chat box right at the start. How do we decide on a speech title? Now, if we see this speech title, I think the speech title is 1 minute. Follow your own darn advice. Okay. Now again, this is something that even I am learning to do. That even I am struggling to do. How to get to that? So what I understand is speech title should not reveal the message in our speech. That will help, because that will again build some suspicion inside the audience, so that our title, whatever we have, the title is not revealing, but they're hooked to the speech till the end of the speech, and that is where we'll hook. So if I give a title to my speech, a very direct title, I'll say, um, don't drive fast. That immediately says, okay, he's going to speak about don't drive fast. Why would I listen to him or her? So for that, try to have your title in a way, very smartly, in a way that it does not reveal what your topic is. If you can have it, it is great. Don't enforce completely that you need to have it, and try to use catchphrases so that these catchphrases are again helping try to rehammer the audience whatever you speak. So that's it, and thank you so much. If you have any questions, any clarifications, I am open for questions now.
Uh, this is Chetan.
Hi Chetan.
Hi. So my question is, using the screen and using the virtual platform, in this is a time when we are giving the speech on Zoom, or maybe on a video chat. That way, when it comes to stage, what will change and what will not?
Okay. When it comes to stage, we need to realize that if I am sitting here, now what I see in front of me is a white wall. Okay. But when we are delivering a speech from a physical meeting, you may go back and revisit some meeting videos which are there. Pratibha will provide you definitely. There you will have audience. There eye contact changes, because here eye contact, we are only looking at the lens. But there where we sometimes look right, center, left, all the directions, and for beginners they start to look at the corners and everywhere, and that is one aspect that changes. With respect to facial expressions, no, not much of any change, and you can do wide gestures there, and you can also use stage movement, because we have almost a 6 feet or 9 feet stage, sometimes 9 feet long stage or 6 feet long stage, typically 6 to 8 feet, and that also gives us an opportunity to move around the stage. Okay, so you can move around the stage in case you have a speech with a timeline, like this person, when he went back to 2019, he just moved back, right? In the same way, if I'm delivering a speech on a physical stage, if I'm standing here when I'm speaking in 2021, I'll try to go very, without even letting the audience know, we have to move a bit, just take a step or two to the right or to the left, and you start speaking. So stage movement is one factor that changes when we go to physical meetings. Let me recollect, it's been a long time we have been in physical meetings. So then I think that's it mostly. Yes, and we'll get audience reactions and all those things. Yeah,
sure. Thank you very much.
so we can take one more question because it is already 9. So Pratibha is here.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, Pratibha. Thank you.
Hi. Any questions? Suhas, Surendra, Krishan, please feel free.
Pratibha, one question over here, or other.
Yeah.
Santosh, one question here. Like when you engage the audience, the pause is for a purpose, or we are actually expecting some response, someone to say yes, someone to say no? What is that?
So in virtual meetings, normally just in order to facilitate speakers, in order to avoid any disturbances, we normally have everyone else on mute. So here in a Zoom meeting, we are not expecting people to answer, but there is a way of framing our questions in a way that they will answer. For example, in a Zoom meeting, I will say, please put it in the chat box, or I'll ask you. We try to ask close-ended questions because that will either have an yes or no answer. Okay, so if I have to ask you, say, have you ever been on a long journey? Then it will be yes or no. Can you put it in the chat box? Can you raise your virtual hand or put yes in the chat box if you have been on a virtual journey, on a random trip? This is for Zoom. If it is a physical meeting, I'll say, you will just lean forward onto the stage and we'll say, have you ever been on an unplanned trip? Then definitely we'll get some responses if we pause, and that depends on how we frame the question. I think I answered.
Yeah.
And even if we don't get answers, please don't get worried. Just move on. I think for one of even my questions, I did not get any responses, but I just moved on. So don't worry if you are not getting responses. You just have to move on.
Debashish, Sachin, Avantika, Ilayaraja. Okay.
Okay, so thank you so much, Pratibha.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, Bombay Toastmasters Club. Thank you. Over to
Thank you,
Pratibha.
Santosh. Making the complex things simple. That was the strong point of your educational session. And what I liked is the mind map. In fact, you have included everything from P1 to P10, what we learn in the legacy program, and what are the things we are learning in pathways level 1 and level 2. And that's how a speech has to be prepared, with the combining all the objectives together with a message, and of course on the online effective body language and expressions. And you have shown us in that mind map by giving examples. It was very easy to learn, and that we can make out because everyone is crystal clear about what is ISC and how they are going to prepare and what will be their topic. Everything we got. So thank you very much for making it so simple, so nice. I'm really thankful that you accepted our invite at the last moment. I gave you maybe a week's time, but it was very effective for our members and other members. All these members are participating first time. So thank you, Santosh. And now
Thank you.
we'll close the meeting. If you have, can we give the email address ID, Varun?
Okay.
And Santosh, I'm having on WhatsApp that poster. I'll be sending it. Just can you put it on chat, Varun?
Oh, that flyer off.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pratibha, you can share it to me. I'll just share it over there.
Okay. I think it was there on the.
What is his name? Arvind must be knowing him. Maybe, I don't know. Shamlal. Shamraj. Yeah.
Shamraj.
Yeah.
So this is another session on ISC, and when you'll see that different angles the objective is the same. I'm sure that you have enjoyed today's session and you are going to enjoy the next session, which is on 31st. I'm not getting that flyer. Okay, so I'll be posting the flyer. Maybe you may see it on Toastmasters of Mumbai group or our Facebook group and Bombay Toastmasters, so everyone will get that. With this, I would like to end the session here. All the best for your participating. I'm sure you are having a topic in your mind. Let's be active and start writing.